everybody to the Black
Multiverse
Multiverse
Theory
Theory
Podcast.
Podcast. Welcome to the Black Multiverse Theory Podcast. We are your hosts, Nigel and Nilo. We'll be exploring current events today through an Afro-Canadian lens. In shoutouts, we catch up with the community, creating a space for connection. The scroll dives into social media, current events, and celebrity news, always actual but not always factual. On the screen, we share our latest watch list, while in our ears explores the sounds shaping our world. The podcast culminates in an uplifting message called The Word, which hopes to leave you empowered. Thanks for tuning in for insightful analysis and vibrant perspectives on the Black experience in today's world.
Yeah. Okay, looks like we're going to shout outs.
Yeah, what you got? What you got? What you got?
We got shout outs going to the Steel Heights Tigers, my U15 team, which is an amazing team. They have gone undefeated for quite some time. So they are doing very, very well. The only time they ever lost was during the tournament to Leduc, I think it was. But they had a cancellation of their game against Millet, and they said it rained out, but they kind of put in the rain forecast from last Thursday, and I think it was just because of the
Good
Oilers.
old hockey game.
Yeah, they kind of did that, but it was good. And shout outs to my U13 team. They are playing tomorrow. I believe. Yep, they're playing tomorrow. So it's going to be a really good time. So shout out to them. And shout outs to all the people this weekend. Bill from Standing Bear Community and all the people in the community, and also Rising Thunder Tourism, who did an awesome powwow we did on Friday. So shout outs to them. Any shout outs for you?
Yeah, big shout out to Bill, of course. And yes, not only Rising Thunder Tourism and Standing Bear Community, everybody who came out, everybody who said hey, said what's up. Nigel and I were hosting together, and it was a lot of fun. I think,
Yeah, it was good.
especially because of the show, I think we do a good co-hosting job.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was all day in the sun. I'm not gonna lie. There was a point where I was like, okay, well, we're like about halfway done, and I checked, it was like 1:45, and I was like, holy hours.
Yes.
But all in all, we had fun. We drummed drums. We sung songs.
Yes.
It was a good time. Also big shout out to Ina and her family who were also out there. And big shout out to everybody who came out for the World Lock Festival. I think that photo will be out soon. It was definitely a day of vibes. It was a good time. The kids had a good time. I have to say thank you to a bunch of people. Thank you to Stephanie. Thank you, of course, to Nigel, who always pulls double and triple duty. Definitely a big, huge thank you to Charmaine, and a big shout out and a thank you to Charmaine. I love her. And also a big shout out to Janelle, or I go by Jay, or Essence of an Empress. You can actually check her out. And also the Maya Banks Collective. They both did some grounding and some some really cool workshops. Big shout out to Joyful Noise, aka the Richards Family Entertainment Collective. A big shout out to them. They did also a fantastic job with the kids. Big shout out to Paperclip Party Creations, who was out there painting faces and taking names. Just kidding. Painting faces. I made a lovely balloon wall, which I later looked at and was like, this looks a little like boobies. Just a little bit.
That's funny.
A big shout out to Uzi Law, Barrington. Oh, I am so sorry. Who was the bassist that I just met? You don't remember his name either?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Steven and Mr. Bassist, who I just met. Big shout out to Uzila and his entire band. Absolutely phenomenal. Big shout out to Reki Lloyd and family who was there. The Sangia drumming, which I've been saying Sangia all of my days. So apparently it's Sangia. Sangia.
Sangia.
Sangia. So big shout out to Sangia. They did a really amazing job. I have to give a big shout out to Singin' D, aka Sappleton,
Appleton.
aka Delroy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, because he says that he watches our show regularly. He says we have him chuckling. He
Yeah.
doesn't catch it when it's on. He's not the type to subscribe, but he checks it out. He scrolls back and he checks it out. So I
Nice.
appreciate that. I understand some people they're in the cut. They don't want to hit the like. They don't want to hit the subscribe. If you're not one of those people, it would be really cool if you did that. On YouTube, we're trying to get over 1,000 subscribers so that we can go live on YouTube too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, if you have a YouTube, check us out there. Hit the like on this. Hit the subscribe on YouTube. But if you're Dalroy, what's up, partner? It's okay. I get it. I also have to give a big shout out to Lane Ellis of Lane Ellis Photography, who took some absolutely gorgeous photos.
Gorgeous.
Um, I'm excited to use them in so many ways, and at least one of them I'm gonna probably blow up and put in my house. Her photography was absolutely awesome. I also have to give. Oh, to be honest with you, I'm looking for the videographer.
Oh, right. Who came with Lane?
Yeah, who came with Lane
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I don't. We will shout you out next week, I swear, because I don't want to take too much time, silent time looking for it. So definitely a big shout out to the videographer who came and volunteered his time. I obviously want to give a super big shout out to the vendors. Without you, it would not even be possible. So
That's right.
thank you for that, and thank you for being there and connecting with each other, and really just making it vibrationally such a beautiful event. I said Reki, I said Uzi, a Wacko Dreamer. Big shout out to you. And it takes a lot of bravery to show up at a thing and do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also appreciate he came to me. He's like, Nilo, whatever you want, Nilo. I swear to God, I got you, Nilo. I see your vision and I got you. Whatever you need, I got you.
You did good.
So I appreciate that. That was absolutely, I appreciate that I did good in terms of having a vision, but that was 999% a team effort. So I appreciate everybody who flexed their muscles and went into that. And Taro, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Taro, aka Ninja Flex, aka Made by T, or I don't really know
We
what
used
his
to call
name
him
is.
Guitaro. His thing is Genscapes. Zenscapes.
Zenscapes. Yeah. Check him out if you've been in the shop and you see Cassius Clay and Bob Marley in here. That is not only for sale, but that is the work of Taro, who some people in the community call Jamaican Chinese.
That's hilarious.
And I think that's it. That's all I
Social
can
media.
think of now. Oh, yes, my girl, my girl, my girl. I have to give a big shout out to Genesis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have to say that I love her social media. I see her all the time on TikTok. So please check her out on TikTok. She's absolutely hilarious. A lot of gym content. And I have to say, she helps get me back into the gym as well. Because she always be in there and she's very consistent and documents her stuff and is always dancing up in the gym. So big shout out to her. She definitely helped out.
Mm-hmm. And
And
then
with all
there's
that,
the lady at the front, Stephanie.
I did say Stephanie. I think I said first.
Okay.
But I'll say it again. I have to give a huge shout out to Stephanie who took everything that I did and turned it like she really steered the boat. I was like, hey, this is what you have to get. I'm very gentle about it too. So I appreciate that. It was actually really, really fantastic working with her.
I think
And of course, we have to say thank you to Dee. None of this would be possible without whom nothing would be possible.
D, D, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and we talk about all the DJs.
Oh, okay. So we'll go to, yes, you're right. I have to give a huge shout out to DJ Paige, who had a great time and allowed me to put purple wax in her hair, but ended up loving it. And little Zayma, who I probably should have paid for entertainment because the way she was working it, I swear, dancing, drumming, like she's so amazing, Robert.
This is really good.
Your little face. I know he looks at that and he's like, oh my gosh. I have to give a super big shout out to DJ Jeree, always bringing the right kind of soca. That's the thing about soca. There's so many different kinds of soca. She was able to bring the right kind of soca to the right instance.
Mm.
And I appreciate that. I have to give a big thank you also to Ina, who showed up like, sure, yeah, 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 and jumped into the concession and sold us chips and candy bags. And I have to give a big thank you to DJ Siku, aka Mr. Koo. He's always a pleasure to have around. And is that it?
I think that's
All
it. I
and
think you
all of the
got.
vendors, which I did say.
Yeah, you did say vendors and
Yeah,
volunteers.
the
Yeah.
vendors, all the volunteers.
The city of Edmonton. You want to talk about them?
I would prefer to email them first. We'll talk about the city of Edmonton.
Okay.
I'll talk about them. We'll jump right. We'll call this in the first part of the scroll.
Okay, go ahead.
So let's move on to the scroll. So here's the thing. We had it at absolutely the most gorgeous venue. I would have to say probably one of the nicest venues in the city.
Yeah.
I personally, along with the guests who were there, felt policed. At least one time a guest was told that they had to like move something or pick it up. Which, if you're working, because the idea is like if you rent a hall, the people come, they open up the stuff, and they go away. Then they come back later, they close up the stuff, right?
Right.
So I feel like if you're there to help me, then pick up the chalk and put it how you want to see it.
Right.
If you are there to police me, then find somebody to pick up the chalk. But I just feel like there was no distinction between the people who were vending, the people who were entertaining, the people who were attending, the
Right.
people who were, you know what I mean? Like they were just like these black folks. Like these black people. So
Okay.
I do have to say though that I did offer, and we'll see if they take us up on it, to do a how do you call that, like a diversity type
Training.
of training before the next lock festival, and give them some history of dreadlocks and that type of a thing. That way the people who are coming don't, and we were like segregated at the beginning in terms of like them telling people that they couldn't come in and they couldn't go here. It was a private event. So all that stuff was a bit frustrating in terms of working with the city. And there's a bunch of other little things too, which when they're added up, it gets to be a little weird, you know?
A little bit.
Like we brought pizza in for the volunteers through the back door, and then somebody ran and reported us for opening the door to bring pizza in the back. Nothing happened ultimately, but like, why was that even a thing that was happening, right? Yeah. So I don't know. The city's doing its best.
Mm,
So in good faith and as a member of the community that we call Edmonton, I was like, we can have that little training before the next Lock Festival. But if we're planning on inviting Black folks from other places out here, we want to make sure that we're inviting them to a safe place,
absolutely.
right? Because
Absolutely.
the other thing is in Edmonton, we're used to it and we'll do it, but you was the right person from Atlanta will cuss you out
They
right
would.
now,
They would.
and they would feel sad for themselves and their families.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I'm trying to say. We're trying to make a safe, inclusive environment for people, and it would be really great if the stewards of the venue
Mm-hmm.
were on board with that part especially.
Agreed.
So that's what I have to say about the city, but it will be compiled in a detailed email because we are what?
We are good.
We are civilized.
Fair.
And that's that.
And that's what it is.
That's what it is. Thank you again, everybody came up with a lot of love. And yeah, just much appreciated. Let's talk about the
Well,
Oilers.
number one, I tried my best while you were talking to find the gentleman's name because he was with Havana at the Black Business
JR?
Black Family Business Conference.
JR or RJ?
No, the bass player. He was one of the
Oh.
ones talking about Bitcoin,
Oh,
and
yes,
he
yes.
had a whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't find him in my in the many
Maybe I could
messages I got
text
from
Uzi
Havana.
real fast.
So he was on there, but he might be in my Instagram, but I'm not sure why I can't find him right now. Anyways, long story short, um, really cool guy, really awesome gentleman, um, and I just can't find. Oh,
Ah, here comes everybody. His name is. Oh, we actually have a drum roll.
partnership with Juka. He's with Juka.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, he's only talking about Juka. So I'm looking for his name.
But we still can't find it.
Can't find.
Mysterious bass player, but we did message Uzi last, so we'll get that before.
He
Anybody want to
he
drop it in the
is.
chat? They feel free to.
Oh, his name is something Joseph.
Okay, okay, Mr. Joseph, if you will.
Mr. Joseph. Clive Joseph, I think it is.
Oh wow,
I can't
Clive.
see it because the thing is too small.
Well, we're gonna find
Anyways,
out his name in a moment, and we
really
are
cool guy.
going to give him the credit where the credit is due.
Yes, I saw him there with his family, um, at the Black Family Business
Oh,
Conference.
I have to say a big shout out. Sorry, I
Mm.
forgot.
So go ahead.
I have to say a major, humongous thank you to IBK.
There's my mom.
Yeah, your mama said the volume's low. A big
Oh,
Is it low on the
it
thing?
might be a little bit on my end.
A big, humongous thank you to IBK from Black Business Edmonton. The Black Business Edmonton Trade Show is coming up on August 24th. Aphrodisiac, of course, will be there live in full effect. I'll be doing some styling, some live styling. I'm going to roll my chair in there for people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so check it out. IBK was one of the folks, one of the few folks really, but one of the folks who actually put money down and helped to sponsor the World Lock Festival. So absolutely amazing to him. And thanks for money where your mouth is. Look, we got Sharal on the ones and twos.
Ooh, Raw's here.
Raleigh's in the.
Let me see.
Bye. Right on time.
Nice. You can hear us. Can you hear us?
But I can't see you again.
You can't see us?
No.
I don't know what to do about that.
That's interesting. I don't know why.
I know
Okay.
it's something on my end that more that I have to do, but I'm not sure.
Mm-mm. I don't think so. It should be. Oh, maybe up top there.
Where up here?
Yeah, what's up there?
It says Raleigh's too, but this is for another person, I think.
Okay.
You want me to click it somehow?
I don't know. It might have to add
Yeah, that should be for another person.
a person, or
Mhm.
add us.
Or a second camera. But
We'll see.
Raleigh's, I don't know if you watch
Hi.
it back, but essentially you are a big face right in the middle of our two big faces.
Oh. I know I forgot to watch it back, but I'm happy to be the face in between the faces.
Nice.
That's
Okay,
all I
what
can
do you
say.
got this week coming up for That's What's Up?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a fantastic week. I know we are starting on a little bit downers because Edmonton Oilers, but we got to be proud. I'm not sure if you touched base on that already, but we are so proud as Edmontonians to be represented for a team who has so much heart. I know the hashtag was believe, and we still believe in them. They brought on a good series, a very exciting series. They said today on the news that it was 2 million that came in for the city, so we hopefully they can keep that same energy up and stuff and continue into a new series. So good on them, congratulations. So what we got today ongoing, make sure you guys check out Sherelle's Soca Fit Dance, which started June 17th, is running right through to July 8th. And that's on Mondays only at 6009 on 86th Street. It's full, but there's some drop-in spots available. So if you guys check her IG, you can jump on Mondays and see if you can get a slot and go and have some fun with Sherelle and Soka Fit. Also, too, June 24th, the sale went live for our FET, the foam FET with YG Trini Feathers. We're proud to present the foam, paint, powder, and that Juve. So, foam Juve will be on a special rate starting off at $35 right now. And then, all the band members, if you guys are anybody who's in the bands for Carrie West, you guys get a special rate of $25. Those tickets are only available from myself. So, make sure if only band members only, please come and take advantage of this exclusive rate. So message me for your list and your way in for the Foam Fest, which will be on August 9th, and tickets are on sale right now at Eventbrite. Also, two YG Training Feathers and ETR presents the Island Rave with GBN Nutrin and many more guests. So make sure you guys get those tickets, and those tickets are on Eventbrite right now as we speak. June 25th, we have the Edmonton International Jazz Fest brought to you by TD. And so we have the likes of Moraine and K Riz will be in the building performing amongst many, many others. So make sure you guys go online and get those tickets as well for Jazz Fest 2024. And on June 29th, Sauce presents their patio vibes. And as you know, outside, we're definitely getting the summer temperatures. So we encourage all you guys to come out to Sauce, 13655, and that's on Sanabo Trail. Admission is free. And they have a backup plan. You know, with Alberta weather, anything can happen. We'll be outside now, and the next you know, it might snow, but you can use the inside for that. So June 29th, that is the patio vibes brought to you by Sauce. June 30th, we have the Groove and Flex, and that's brought to you by La Connectionale and Mon Bien Zen, their French names and stuff like that. So those three guys, they brought to you the top of the level Royal Canora heavy hit training. Make sure you guys get out and support them. They're amazing trio. And anybody that goes to that or sign up to that will be automatically in their Prairie Sunset Grooves, which is going on at the Bijou. So one ticket, two events. Make sure you guys come out and support that and get fit, ready for the summer body. Also, Five Artists One Love presents the Art Battle. You guys, if you remember this, the Art Battle is back. It was a really good time when it came out. And they're bringing it back live from the Starlight Room. That happens at 7 p.m. And Mela Freak will be musically entertaining you guys. And that's
Hello?
10030
We can't hear you.
102 Street.
We stopped hearing you. Something happened to your sound.
You can't hear me? Hello?
How did that happen all of a sudden?
Test 1, 2.
Hello?
Say something.
No, I didn't hear. Can you guys hear
Can we
me?
hear?
It's coming. It's the things. going on the live.
Yeah, I can see the.
Okay, so maybe the people can hear you. Keep going. Maybe it's
Okay,
just us.
I'll keep going. Sorry, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but the art battle again, like I said, 5 artists, one love. That's the Starlight Room, 10030, 102nd Avenue Northwest, and Mela Freak will be performing. So make sure you guys check that out. And last but not least, going into July, the first week after the long weekend, which is Canada Day, of course, will be the Edmonton Jerk Festival, and that going on July 6th at Queen Mary Park, and many more performers. We see a performance there for live from Saint Full Energy Band. Of course, that's Edmonton #1 premier reggae band. Make sure you guys support them. Much, much more information at www.yegjerkfestival.ca. And Queen Mary Park is 10844 and 117th Street. So, on behalf of Multi-Universe, Black Multi-Universe, I am Rawls Reports, and that's what's up.
Nice.
Hope you can hear me still.
We can only hear you. There's a little bit of a 10-second delay because
Oh,
everybody can
okay.
hear you except for
Okay,
us in the
perfect.
studio. And you can see us. You can hear us, but you can't see us where you are.
Yes.
So there's a couple things
Don't
we got
worry.
to work out.
No worries. Happy to be here.
Raleigh's,
Yes.
thank you for taking the time to get on and tune in with us, and thanks for that list.
You're welcome, you guys. And again, if anybody has anything that they want to say, you can hit me up. I know I had a Gmail address. I think that's what's up at gmail.com. I'll check it out to make sure that's it. But at Raleigh's Reports, hit me up on IG and I can let people know what is going down.
All right,
All
sister.
right.
We'll see you next
Take care.
week.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Okay. All right.
That's fun. I like having her up in the middle like a big face.
It's good. If we can get her to see us, she'd probably be happier.
I wonder
more
if there's a
interactive.
thing she can press on the screen though. On her own screen, like a selection.
We'll have to try it.
Like there might be like a flip button that flips. You know how sometimes you can make yourself big and the other person small type thing? Maybe the thing that switches that makes her be able to see us. But we'll see. We should have her come in one day and check it out.
Yeah. Or you can send me the link and then we can try it out.
Sure. So a great run by the Oilers. Raleigh's touched on it.
Yeah.
The championship game was just this last Monday.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, Tuesday was a sad day in the city.
Oh man, was it ever. Yesterday I never saw so many people, men, women, and children, walking together, moping around. It was so quiet. The whole city seemed quiet. I saw a couple walking with their little baby, and the baby was skipping, but quietly, sadly skipping to the park.
The baby's like, I don't know why I have to be careful with my joy, but I feel like I do.
Yeah, policing their joy is a thing. And a couple things happened because of this. First of all, McDonald's said they were going to name one of their McDonald's McDavid if they won. Of course, that didn't work out. So that's not happening.
Sorry.
Drake.
But also fair enough, you know?
No, Drake, who's been under fire, like heavy fire,
heavy artillery,
made a bet of $500,000 that the Oilers would win. He lost all that money, so that money's gone. Sorry, Drake.
Sorry,
the payout for that was over $1 million, and lots of people lost their money. I was very proud.
Lots of people lost money. I'll tell you that.
I was very proud of our Oilers fans because when I looked, I didn't realize it, but the Oilers had to face something that's very hard for a team to do, to go into a Stanley Cup final away from home.
Yeah.
And so they had to fly out to Florida.
Yeah.
They had to do it in enemy territory.
Yep.
But the fans did the exact same thing. And so what I realized is we got a lot of rich fans out there that bought Stanley Cup tickets, which were exorbitantly priced, of course.
Of course.
And then they had a flight. There were so many people that flew out to Florida for the game. There's so many jerseys walking in.
Yeah.
So many people there to support. So you know what, fans? If you're a true Oilers fan, and I know a lot of people who watch the show can be, congrats, man. Congrats on being a diehard fan and not just a bandwagon fan. Getting out there. I saw you with your Connor McDavid jerseys and even Grant Fuhr and Gretzky jerseys, the originals on. So congrats to you guys. I know it was a hard loss, but it is what it is.
It is. The Uber driver the next day, I got in the car. I'm like, okay, thank you. He's like, ready? I'm like, yeah. He's like, we're driving 2 seconds. He goes, are you an Oilers fan? I'm like, I mean, I live in Edmonton. He's like, the Oilers lost. Everybody was so sad. They just went home. They just got in the cab and was like, take me home. They didn't say anything in the cab. Everybody was sad. I was like, oh, that's so sad. But, you win some, you lose some. But it turns out, allegedly, and I have not looked into this or researched this whatsoever, but allegedly the Oilers had promised Boyle Street $5 million when Boyle Street was fundraising for a new shelter over there. So the Oilers said, okay, if you guys raise the money to be able to do it, we will toss in an extra $5 million in there. Wow. So Boyle Street's like, okay, they did their thing. They got the money. And did the Oilers do that? No, they did not.
They did?
They did not
back it up?
And not only did they not back it up, they took them to court so that to get out of having to pay it.
Oh, wow.
So they said that the Oilers can't get a cup until they pay that $5 million to Boyle Street.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, that's the word on the street. So
somebody did something.
Let's see what happens. But I allegedly it was confirmed, but not by me. I have to actually go and look and see what happened there. But
okay,
that's what they say. Let's talk about. What do we have? Drake, Southern Alberta.
Well, there's still more stuff related to the Oilers stuff. We did the Drake thing, but we also had
the Boston Pizza.
Boston Pizza had said that if the Oilers win, they're going to give out 30,000 free pizzas.
Right.
And then when the Oilers lost, they said, you know what? We're still going to give out the 30,000 free pizzas. So right now, and they said they were also going to change their name from Boston Pizza to Edmonton Pizza. Little known fact that people don't know is that Boston Pizza was actually founded and created right here in Edmonton. So
I've been to Boston, and there is no Boston Pizza in Boston, fans. Just so that you know.
Yeah,
fans.
It would be redundant.
It's just called pizza?
It's just called pizza. It's like going to Buffalo and looking for buffalo wings.
I'm going to tell you that there's 100,000 places called New York Pizza in New York. I absolutely promise you.
And that's the funny thing about New York. New Yorkers don't mind saying their own name over and over.
We have a friend here that's going to Chicago. So I was thinking about things that she could go see and look at in Chicago. Yeah. And I was like, well, Chicago has its own pizza. And then we go quiet. And then I'm like, but being from New York, I don't really consider. She's like, yeah, I don't really like Chicago pizza. Chicago pizza pie.
Chicago has deep dish.
Deep dish pizza. So it's like a bowl of pizza.
Yeah, it's a large bowl.
It's a bread bowl. It's essentially a pizza bread bowl. With cheese. Anyway, Chicago also has its own hot dogs. Because they put lettuce, tomato.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, they make a hot dog like a hamburger, which I mess with. I like it.
Okay. Wow.
So, anyway, that's not the whole point. The point is Boston Pizza, a.k.a. Edmonton Pizza, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly free pizzas there.
Not Edmonton Pizza. It's just they're going to stay with the name Boston Pizza. Okay. There's too much. Switch around.
But I hope they don't go out of business like... Red Lobster.
A lot of people go to Boston Pizza. By the way, if you have kids under 12, they eat free at Boston Pizza. So don't forget, to check them out if you have a birthday party and you need something inexpensive. Just grab the kids. And tell that kid who's 13 that they're 12 and make them
say they're 12.
Make them not say a word.
Right, and also make eye contact. So,
also, and last but not least, there were 33,000 people inside and outside of Rexall. Of Rogers Place.
Not Rexall.
Rexall Place hasn't been around since April 16th, 2016. So April 6th was the last game that the Oilers played 2016 at Rexall. But Rogers Place, there were 33,000 people there, and there were only 5 arrests, and 1 person got arrested for criminal mischief.
Ooh,
out of all those people,
look at you, either not getting arrested or police not arresting people. One of the things that happened, I promise you, is that after that game, the weather plunged. It got cold with people's hearts.
Thanks to beans.
He prayed for that, actually.
To Sir Beans.
So it didn't rain the way he wanted it to, but it got cold and it got immediately windy. Yeah. So all people were trying to do is get into their Ubers and get into their cars and get home. Absolutely.
Yeah. Trying to go home. That's it.
Yeah. So, good run, guys.
Good run, guys.
I can skate, but I can't play hockey. So it is quite the skill to be able to do that. I heard Connor McDavid's only 26. He's been on the Oilers for 9 years or something like that.
It's been quite some time.
And I heard the hockey players play hockey for a long time. Because I know, like, football player being
27 now.
Being 26 and being a football player, you're literally out of the game. Like, they age like dog years. But apparently hockey players stay in for longer. I didn't know that.
Well, back in the day, they used to be like they looked like they were 40 years old.
They were just 28.
And they are. So it's like.
Hard to tell. Hard to know.
But there are quite a bit of 30-year-olds, late 30-year-olds in hockey. And there's one 40-year-old, Mark Giordano.
Okay.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
So it sounds like a young man's game, but it sounds like he's got time. To get where he needs to get.
Yeah, Gretzky stopped playing at 38. That was his last year, his last run. But it's hard. It's hard on the face. It's hard on your dental plan. It's hard on your body, getting checked all the time.
Also concussions.
The whole works.
CTE, all that stuff.
But they've done a lot since then to like curb all this stuff. So they put full face masks on most of the players. Back when Gretzky was playing, there was nothing. You just had a helmet and the puck just hit your teeth and your nose. And, a lot of them had no teeth.
So apparently we talked about Vimy Ridge banning cell phones from K through 12 because I think Vimy Ridge is one of those schools. And now Alberta has said, Vimy, what a good idea. Us too. Also banning cell phones from K to 12. I was not old enough I did not have a cell phone. It's not that I was not old enough to have a cell phone. It's that cell phones were not old enough to be had by me. But I did have a pager once. And the kids said, who are you paging? We're all here.
They said that?
That's what they said.
Who are you paging or who's paging you?
Who's paging you? Who are you paging? Yeah, same deal.
Oh, I had a pager back in the day when I was in Florida. They gave me one with a 1-800 number, which was great.
Nice.
And then I used to have a phone card, and I would make my friends from Canada phone me in Florida on my 1-800 number, and then I would just go to any payphone or any phone and just put in my calling card. Sometimes I'd have like thousands
Remember
of
calling
minutes.
cards?
Yeah, I remember them because I used them quite a bit.
They were good if you were to call and talk long time. but they're not good for making multiple call because once you make the call, there's a connection fee. It might be like $10, and then it's like 3 cents a minute after that.
Yeah.
So you can talk and talk and talk and talk, but you can't call and pick up and call and pick up because it will make your total go down much faster.
Yeah, you had to go around. I had to go around and get a new calling card. So I found some of the best calling cards in the entire state of Florida.
Shout out to Boost
and
calling
I used
cards.
quite a bit of those calling cards. And on top of that, people didn't realize that calling cards were like the thing in the States. So people from Canada never really, they didn't have the cheapo calling cards.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, just call me on my 1-800 number pager and I'll call you back.
On the calling card, with the calling card, with the 3 cents a minute.
Which was awesome. And it worked out very well. And then shortly after, and for those of you who don't know, back in that time, you had to pay per text. So it wasn't a thing where you could text somebody and everything would be, it was like 10 cents a character. So you could even say hi, hello without paying like a whole dollar for a text.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, now the children will learn what it was like back in those days. But I'm going to tell you something about children. Having been one myself, the children will figure out how to drive you crazy. They will figure out how to not pay attention in class, and they will do it with or without a cell phone. Being disruptive in class, not paying attention in class, zoning out in class, that's not new. However, I do think that maybe the kids need a break on a cell phone because they really be on those things all day for real. Thank God I raised a kid that was on the tail end of that. So that cell phone behavior stuff I didn't have to deal with till she was in like 10th, 11th grade kind of. But now people are dealing with cell phones as early as like 6th grade, 5th grade, 4th grade.
Yeah, I forgot to shout out to the African men of African men and men of African descent
in
St. Albert, who had me there to talk about keeping children in the culture. And what we discussed there was funny along the same lines, is that children are always on some sort of device or whatever, and they're trying to get their children off of the devices and go there. And that's one of the crazy things about taking it away from class. You don't have the things that we used to have back in the day. Those spitballs.
You will now. You will now. The teachers, the now teachers weren't even in school then, so they don't even realize they had cell phones. The now teachers had cell phones.
I don't know if it's a great thing. And here's what I'm saying, Alberta. Before we make this decision, which it looks like you already are going to make it, and nobody consulted me about it before you made
you
it.
specifically.
Me specifically. There are the technology that we didn't have. We also had problems because a lot of us had and have ADHD, and we were getting slapped up, beat up, licked, for not focusing and not having it. And a lot of the problem is, which I'm noticing with different children, is that we're not able to concentrate on what we're listening to or what we're reading. Sometimes you can read something, but it doesn't click in here because you're just reading words.
Right.
But if the words are read to you, then your brain can focus on the words that are coming through. So the technology, like I just forwarded my son this app that not only dictates what the teacher says and makes notes for you, it reads it back to you and makes flashcards for you based off of what they said.
Wow, that's crazy that AI is AIing.
Yeah, I sent it to him. I was like, yo, you need to, we need to work with this because.
But the thing is that that's not what kids are doing with their phones in school. No. They're doing TikTok. It's TikTok, right?
There's a lot of TikTok, and I think the control there is where the problem comes in.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Good luck to you, Edmonton Public School Board. Let's see what happens.
I don't think they should do that. I think what they should do at the beginning, there's all the solutions. I think they should, because there's ways that when you get into a certain area,
You just will do a Wi-Fi blocker and just click it on at a certain time?
It blocks certain apps. Like, you can do that. Block certain apps from coming on. So only your phone works for emergencies. Like, what happens if a shooter comes in?
Yikes.
They do shooter drills.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't do that at school. There was no shooter drills at school.
But have we had shooters? No.
Yeah.
Here in Edmonton? We have bomb threats. That's what our kids
We have
do.
a lot of bomb threats, but we have a lot of people who bring guns to school.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And you don't hear about it in the news because some kid sees the gun and is like, danger, danger. And it was a thing. So for us, we haven't had an incident like that. God forbid that we have an incident like that. And we don't want to have an incident like that.
No. All right. Do we want to talk about snowfall?
Yeah, Southern Alberta had snow last week. Fall all over the place. This is one of the weirdest summers, I think, for me. Even at Africarnival in the middle of June, it was
so cold.
Freezing cold. And then after the Oilers game, it was almost like the weather was like, we're sad too. And the whole place just went windy.
Yeah, and
rainy.
Freezing. It was so cold that,
Let me tell you something.
But that's why everybody went home. That's why there was only 5 arrests or 6 arrests or whatever, because...
Let me send a message out there for the person who was so happy about the Oilers winning on Friday that they went to my van and smashed the glass yet again. I will find you. I have a certain amount of skills.
A certain specific
set of skills that if you don't stop doing this, I will find you.
Oh.
That's it.
God forbid. Anyway, stop it. That's all. Moving on. Last thing here, Pat Sajak.
Actually,
second last thing. The other thing I'm actually going to move to In My Ears.
My mom, Dr. Evangelist Zena Williams.
Right.
And I and myself have watched Wheel of Fortune for years.
It's a family staple.
To watch it and to try and guess the numbers. You know, we did a little bit of Jeopardy, but nothing was as good as Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak, and let's not forget Vanna White.
But let's also not forget that years ago, Vanna White had to fight big time to get paid reasonably.
Right.
And I don't remember Pat Sajak doing anything to like help her in that situation, but
I don't know what he did in secret, but he didn't do anything in public that I knew of. And I don't know. What I do know is
I feel like he was trash at the time, but I could be wrong. I just have vague memories of feelings.
All I know is that people tend to look out for number one. They don't want to lose their job, so they're going to stay quiet. And a lot of people do that. But Pat, he's gone. He retired a few weeks back and said his farewell goodbye, and it was heart-wrenching. And he went on there and he said he was proud. He was almost on the verge of tears, and he said, I think there was a couple of tears that went down, that he was proud to be invited into our homes and experience this. And I mean, we saw him when his hair was like...
His hair was pretty much
red.
The same most of the time, except it changed in color and almost nothing else.
Yeah.
And the new Wheel of Fortune host is
Ryan Seacrest.
None other than the man with the allegations.
More allegations. Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest has hecka burning love allegations. He's got a ton of allegations. So good luck to him and whatever network that show is on. And any of you people who still watch network TV?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few people who do.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune. I'm a Jeopardy girl, to be honest with you. And
I'm a Family Feud guy.
Okay, Family Feud. Yeah. Let us move on to the
Screen.
Screen. Yes.
Screen.
So what are you watching right now?
Wow. What am I not watching is really the question.
Not what are you not watching?
So I delved into The Boys. Now, if you know about the Black Multiverse Theory podcast and our morning show, we talked about the show The Boys for a long time. And it is great because you finally see somebody who has all the powers almost of Superbad, but is evil. And the heroes in the thing are the humans. That's who the heroes are. But there's a bunch of people who love this evil, maniacal superhero named Homelander. And he's killed numerous people, and he's made people kill other people because he has unlimited power. And what I love about it is they've introduced a new character by the name of Sage, aka Sister Sage. She likes to be called Sage, but they've bought the evil company, named her Sister Sage because she's a black woman. And they did all this black stuff to keep her in check. So she rarely gets surprised. And she says this because her superpower is being the smartest person in the world. And people keep saying, "Oh, you're the smartest woman in the world." She goes, "Actually, I'm the smartest person."
The problem with that is the thing that is your superpower is also your downfall. And many times that's true in real life too. As above, so below, they say.
Yeah. So she's been doing stuff and manipulating people to do the bidding that she needs them to do. In fact, she has been moving chess pieces around so that things happen in a certain way. And Homelander's doesn't like her, but he knows that he needs her. So it's actually pretty cool.
Okay, that show makes me very uncomfortable. I do watch it every now and then, but it is hecka violent, like super violent.
Yeah.
And that's challenging for me.
It is a Quentin Tarantino kind of gross.
And it makes me uncomfortable. And also, I wondered if The Boys typically is a euphemism for police. And so, if you have a chance to watch it, discuss with me when you see me if you think that this is a euphemism for police and police having too much power and just killing people all willy-nilly, and how they're being portrayed, being controlled by the state and all that stuff. So check it out. It's uncomfortable for me to watch, but nowadays, especially Amazon, it's always, everything is boundary pushing at this point.
What are you watching?
So I am currently, or have currently watched, House of Dragon, which has returned to create.
Not to be confused with Cisco's Alba.
Not to be confused with Cisco.
Not to be confused with Cisco.
One of the singers of Drew Hill. Would I call Cisco the lead singer of Drew Hill? I'm not so sure.
He also has white hair, so...
He does have white hair. That's wild. So they really copied him. It's always us.
It's always us.
We're always...
Anyway,
same gross stuff, like family, whatchamacallit. But I found out that the lead actor is non-binary and also hot. Apparently, very like mask, and like I was like, oh wow, okay, wow, this is very different.
Which lead character?
The Rhaenyra. I'll show you their
the man.
No,
the woman.
Yes,
is hot.
They play a woman, but in real life they are very masculine.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you their photo when you get it.
Okay. Got it.
It was like, I was like, wait a minute. What? But yes. Also, this is on the screen that's going to move into in our ears. The pop out, the Juneteenth pop out with Kendrick Lamar, where he spends about 30 minutes playing They Not Like Us, replaying it, as Nigel said, over 10 times. And what is so interesting is that there's people in the audience with their cell phones. Oftentimes at a lot of these events, cell phones are not allowed. But the people are there in the audience with their cell phones, which means every single year, social media is going to be like, do you remember this? And when I was watching the thing, I was like, the way Drake was irritated at Poopity Scoop, I can't even imagine the way his feelings are hurt. And it turns out DJ Mustard also has an album coming out, which I'm excited to hear. Yeah, he's like, I couldn't have planned this rollout. He's just been sending Kendrick Lamar beats and beats and beats every day for however long until he sent him over 100 beats. And then Kendrick Lamar just randomly
just picked one.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah. And it happened to be one of the beats that he collaborated. It was like him and his boy. But usually there's more people who collaborate on the beats. But
right.
Yeah, so Mustard's got a new album coming out. Kendrick Lamar was shooting a video for They Not Like Us. He played it over and over at the Juneteenth. He's got his new album coming out. I feel sad for Drake. I don't feel sad for Drake, but you know.
That's interesting.
It's not a good time for him right now.
Is that the Juneteenth pop-out?
That was the Juneteenth pop-out, yeah.
Honestly, what Kendrick Lamar has done so far is absolutely wild on many levels. Very, very wild to me. And not outlandish, but it's just, he is literally beating this thing down. Like,
it's a number one hit.
It's a hit.
So he's gonna do that thing where it's a number one hit.
What's
your mama said?
Mama, what did she say? Mama
she said, at Dr. Murray's church, she invited everybody who had their cell phones to leave it at the altar until the end of service.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, church is a different place for worship. Back in the day, everybody carried a Bible with them. Mm-hmm. Everybody carried a Bible with them.
Now your Bible's on your phone.
You got your Bible on your phone.
And you can search by keyword.
And you can search everything by keyword. We used to have fun games that they used to have for children to encourage your Bible walk. So getting your first Bible was like a rite of passage. Mm-hmm. And then we used to have a thing called Sword in Hand, where you'd stand at the back of church, mm-hmm. or not at the back of church. You'd sit down in the congregation, and they'd say a scripture, and then you'd scramble to find it. The first person to stand up and say the scripture correctly got a point.
But now you can control find.
But yeah, so now you could just tell your phone. You don't even have to open the app. I could tell the phone what scripture, and Google will just find it.
You could ask them for a kind of like a scripture about blah blah blah, like general topic, and they'll be like, how about these 18? Anyhow, but yeah, so Kendrick Lamar still doing his thing. DJ Mustard has a new album coming out. I have to say this, the Thames album is a 1 hour long album. Please, if you have not listened to it, please listen to it. I have listened to it over and over and over and over and over again. That Thames album, I have to say, Victoria Monet, Thames, two of the top albums like of time.
Really?
Yes, it's a classic. As I said, the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, it's smooth, it's good. Last week I was like, oh, it's like some of it is like giving da 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 da. What's her name? It's giving, some of it is very much giving Sade vibes.
Sade.
Yeah, and very smooth and sultry. But me and Paige were talking about it the other day. She's like, oh, have you listened to this album? I was, girl, have I listened to anything else but this album? Like, that Thames album has been on repeat for the last 3 weeks. If you have not yet put it on, put it on. That's what I have to say. And I'll probably be saying Thames every week for like weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just such a fantastic album.
Wonderful.
What are you listening to?
Wonderful. I have been back into the old gospel way, Mississippi Mass Choir. Old. I don't know why it came up just recently, and I am back to that. But I'm hoping to work on my own personal stuff. So watching Uzila this week, and him threatening me.
He's so good
to get my own thing going on. It is a thing. It is a thing. So yes, Uzila, I am trying to listen and get more inspiration for what I'm about to do with my own album. That's it.
I look like that. My hair looks like that Bob Marley album, Uprising.
Okay.
I'll show you at the end. Okay, is it your turn for a word?
It is my turn for a word.
What you got?
Okay. I've said this numerous times, but it always keeps coming up, and I gotta say it one more time, just for reiteration. And that is, everybody's got an opinion, and everybody has to use the bathroom, and sometimes it stinks. A lot of times, both of these things stink. And here's the thing about what I'm saying. You're going to do what you got to do. I have done a lot of things in my life, which I thought were cool. Put on events, made choices about careers, and done a lot of things throughout time to try and forward myself on a physical, economical, a spiritual, and a mental capacity to expand my horizons around that and those around me. So, especially working in the community, it's always there to better my people, to better the people that are rocking with me, the people who don't rock with me, the people that are there. And there's always somebody who's going to have an opinion about what you do and how you do it and why you're doing it. And those people who have the opinion, their opinions are their opinions. And once they have their opinion, it's either going to be great or not so great or just downright terrible. And a lot of their fears they're going to push onto you because they're afraid of doing the thing, or they're afraid that you're not going to succeed. And one of the things that I realize is that you get the ideas that you get because they're for you. So whether you believe that God is giving you the idea or whatever you believe in is giving you the idea, if you believe that that idea came in, if that idea came into your head, that is for you. That is for you. But once the idea gets to you, if you don't act on that idea, don't be surprised if somebody else does, because it's out there now. It's out there in the world, in the ether, for people to pick up and just get and take and go with it and rock with it. I had an idea once upon a time for a show called The Trades, and I talked about it for almost a decade. And just the other day, I saw that HBO
on Amazon. Oh, it was on HBO.
Was it Amazon? It was either Amazon or HBO is coming out with the show called The Trades. It's very similar to what I had thought about. Very
and
similar.
It's from Canadian content creators.
Yeah, it is.
It's from the
Trailer Park
Boys, right?
Yeah. So and my show was very along the same lines as Trailer Park Boys too. Mm-hmm. So, and I remember thinking about it, and I remember meeting a guy at the Edmonton Public Library to discuss what it would look like to get this for. He was the authority having jurisdiction, and here in Edmonton, I brought it to him, and he's like, well, you don't have a protagonist. You don't have a stable protagonist, so it's never going to work. You need a stable protagonist for it to work. Well, here it is. Here it is. They're going to come out with it. I didn't come out with it. I didn't have the time, the resources, whatever, the gumption, whatever. So when you are going out, to shorten this word, remember, you have people that are going to give you an opinion, and you have every right not to take their advice at all or to take their advice. So please do your thing. Move forward with your thing, no matter what anybody says. Take everybody's advice, take the good, discard the bad, and just move forward. And that's it.
All right, everybody. That is a great word. Yes, opinions do occur frequently, and it seems like everybody has one for sure. Thank you, everybody, for joining us once again on the Black Multiverse Theory podcast. We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Good night, everybody.